Alright, y'all, so it's time for step 2 in our snake hat band. So the preservation process is pretty much done. The skin has been soaking in the solution for 6 days. So now we're going to take it out and we're going to start the preparation part to making the hat band. As you can see, I've got my base hat band made up out of buffalo hide. I've got it cut to length how I need it, and I tapered the ends and used an 1/8 inch leather punch to make a hole in it. The whole kit with a little holder and 6 bits is $4.50 at your local hobby shop. So there's holes for the ties. Once I put the hide onto the leather, I just have this out here basically for illustration purposes and to see where my hide is going to fall on this, because the hide on the snake was approximately 22 inches of usable hide. So the idea here is to stretch out and dry the skin now, and there are 2 methods. There is this method here, which I'll talk about in a minute, but the most common one, you would take a piece of foam insulation or cardboard or something the length of the snake skin that you would need, and you would roll that snake skin out on there and stretch it and pin it as you go. Well, first of all, I don't have cardboard or styrofoam 22 inches or better, and I don't have a whole bunch of pins to pin it. And also with that, especially if you use small enough pins, when you stretch the skin and then pin it, the skin's going to be pulling back, and it may pull the pin through, tear the skin, and the skin will, start to curl or whatever. This is the most common method that I've seen used, and it seems to be pretty foolproof. You just take and stretch the snake skin and roll it out on the stick as you go. Once you get it rolled up, you hang it up for several days and let it dry. So I'm not so much worried about stretching the snake skin this way, because through experimentation I figured out that 1.25 inches is going to be the perfect size band for my hat. And there's easily 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches better of back skin on here, so don't have to worry so much about stretching it this way. But as I mentioned, on the snake, the skin was like 22 inches, and this is exactly 22 5/8. So we're going to stretch it more this way. So that's where this little dude's going to come in. That's just a little paver that I'm going to use. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to take my stick, and I'm going to prepare to go ahead and stretch and roll this thing, and then I will hang it up for several days, and then we will glue it onto the leather. And at that point, we will have a completed hat band. Sorry, I don't know if you guys wanted to see me take the skin out of the solution. So there's 2 components to this solution, and there's a purpose for each one of them. Okay, so the first ingredient is the isopropyl alcohol. Obviously, the purpose of the alcohol is to disinfect and kill all bacteria and stop the decay process of the skin, so that it doesn't decay and rot and start to stink. I was able to salvage the head on this, but I couldn't figure out a way to include it onto the hat band, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that part off, and then maybe figure out later on how I can use that, preserve it and use it. And then the other ingredient is glycerin, which is a common household ingredient. You can find it at just about any drugstore in the body lotions and moisturizers department. And what it is a moisturizer. So the alcohol disinfects and kills all the bacteria, and then the glycerin moisturizes and hydrates the skin to keep it supple and pliable like this. As you know, snake skin is kind of stretchy anyway, because they eat big things and they've got to stretch. So it looks to me like, this is an absolutely perfect example of a copperhead hide. So what I'm going to do now is since I don't have someone here to help me, I am going to just weight this end down with my paver, and then I'm going to take my stick, and hopefully this will work, and start stretching the skin more lengthwise than widthwise, and start wrapping the skin around this stick. And then once I get the skin all preserved and wrapped, or stretched and wrapped or whatever, I will hang it up again for several days, probably 6 days to a week or whatever, and then we will try to make a hat band out of it. Unfortunately, the weight of that paver wasn't quite enough, but by hand here I'm able to still kind of successfully stretch and wrap this thing at the same time. And I am not looking at the screen, so I don't know if I'm catching it real good on the camera, but there we go. We have got the snake hide wrapped up on the stick. And what I'll do, I will probably take a piece of scrap leather from making the leather base of my hat band and maybe tie this just so it doesn't unravel. And then I will just run this stick between two coat hangers in the closet, and I'll keep it in a cool, dry place for several days. And then we will come back and see if we can make a hat band out of it. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know with a thumbs up and a comment. Share this video with your friends, subscribe, and always, 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 guys, take care of yourselves and each other. Have a fantastic day or night. God bless.